It seems like to me in an off-year election, if you're going to think that the results of that tell you how you're going to do going into when you have the bottom of the barrel voter participation, if you think that that is what you're going to build your momentum on going into the midterms, they might be in some trouble.
It is such a fallacy, but I love that you called it out because it's their typical DNC strategy. That one good election night means everything is great. We're going to rewrite the entire narrative. For the last 2 years, the statistics, the data has showed that young men are leaving in droves, double digits in several 2024 and early 2025 polls, trending massively toward Trump, toward populism or independence. But they are reframing this. This is just a narrative they're peddling. It's not a data-driven claim. And it sort of reminds me, to me, it's not the chair's position. It's the cheerleader's position. Everything coming out of that person's mouth should actually say, more Booker style, don't start celebrating. Don't get ahead of yourselves. Our party is fractured. We are hemorrhaging important votes. We are missing out on ideology and messaging. And there's a reason why people feel disconnected and overlooked by us. There's a reason why everyone thinks we are elitist and totally failing to put them as a priority. But no, he's just saying, nothing to see here. Everything's great, guys. So that shows his utter failure as a leader. But in a way, why am I giving them good advice?
Right.
Keep doing what you're doing, buddy. Keep doing it.
So, Paul, you know, it's kind of interesting. Obviously, a lot of focus was on New York City with Mamdani running. Yeah. But if you look in Virginia and New Jersey, where Democrats did as well as they should have done in an off-year election when Republicans control Washington, the candidates there ran on basically an America First Trump platform of lower gas prices, a secure border, and tax cuts. So I'm not sure that it's quite the confirmation that they think it was.
Yeah, I mean, he pulled them to the center. I think a litmus test is coming up here in Tennessee relative to the seat that's in play covering. Now, we should recognize Nashville's a very blue city. People don't realize that. So we can see how that thing plays out. But, you know, to me, the thing here is the story is Cory Booker taking the lead. All right? I could listen to him all day. It's hilarious. So the thing is, you know, let me get this straight. So Cory Booker is going to be the spokesperson for the traditional male role on the Democratic Party. I mean, really, you know, we'll let Greg handle that joke. But the bottom line is, let's start with one thing. Define a man and a woman. All right? Maybe we can start with some basic principles first. That realistically is the bottom line here. When you tell people there really is no difference, then you've undermined the idea that we're going to reach out to one half. You also got to say to yourself, why now? All right, what is Booker's, because everything's political, you and I know this, in that kind of a world. So what is he, I think, advocating for? I don't think he's got a shot for president. I don't think he even tells himself that he can somehow make the nomination. I would think maybe VP or something, because all of a sudden he's positioning himself as the leader. And I got to say, where you been on this issue? All right, you've been around, guys, so, you know, we'll hold your coat, get in the game. Now, all of a sudden, he's doing it. So, to me, this is very political. He's got to play.
Yeah, so going back to your point earlier, Kat, about accountability in politics, you want to know, you know, every single one of these people looks in the mirror and they see the next president, including Cory Booker.
Isn't that terrible? Because it's true. But also, I think, obviously, Democrats are men are disillusioned with Democrats. They don't feel welcome among Democrats. They feel scolded. But I don't think that paints the entire picture when it comes to Gen Z specifically. Here in New York City, more than 6 in 10 men, the youngest age group, voted for Mamdani. And I know that's New York, but about a third of Gen Z identifies the way I do, which is independent. They're independent. They're disillusioned with the establishment on both sides. And I think that makes a lot of sense for a lot of young people who a huge part of this generation was in high school during COVID. I think that was a very transformational experience for a lot of these young people, where they're looking at the establishment in general, and they're like, why should I listen to you? Why should I trust you? And I just am looking for something new. I want something else, something outside.
Well, even in New York City, which is obviously a heavily Democrat place, credibility of politicians has gone out the window.
Well, I mean, New York City is probably one of the bluest cities in America. But, you know, the DNC chair is pointing to New York. Look what we did in New York with Mamdani. Mamdani is a democratic socialist. You had people like Congressman Tom Suozzi. You had Andrew Cuomo said, What happened to the Democratic Party? We need to redefine what the Democratic Party is, because it's not the values that my father grew up with. It is now a socialist. Social justice is what they're worried about. It's not, criminal reform, not any of the stuff that most of the Democrats wanted in New York City. It's a totally different arm of the organization. Let's see how it plays out.
Yeah, and as you said, if this is what you want to believe, then okay, good luck. We'll see.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.